There were a couple of areas you're looking at as an area of great promise. From where you stand, what would you advise? What would your advice be? Where would you put
See,
your
today,
bet
I'll
on?
tell you something, Sujay. Even though I'm a successful entrepreneur, of course, I keep my eyes wide open to look at various startups. I'm today working with a few startups, okay, in very exciting areas. I'm working with a company called Quark Pharmaceuticals. It's a small startup from Israel, okay? They are developing siRNA technologies. But, you know, they know that they can't take the product to the market. So they're working with us to see, can we help them to take this product either further down the clinical path, or whether we would, of course, they know that we can take this product to certain markets, but together can we license it to a bigger partner. So I'm constantly looking at those kind of opportunities. Yesterday, another small company came from Europe, and they had a very interesting product for the diabetes space. And I said, yeah, we'll work with you. We're working with another small startup in Bangalore who's developing a diabetes product. And you know, we are willing to help them commercialize that product in India. So I think to any startup, if your idea is good, I think big companies are looking for new ideas. Believe me, today, the research engine of big pharma is no longer what it used to be. Those research engines have started slowing down. They are not energetic. They need to be, you know, they need to have a redesign. And those research engines are beginning to fail them. So they are looking for startup ideas. They are looking to license things from various companies who have innovative things to offer them. And they then want to not just do it within their research labs, but they're willing to fund those companies to take it further up the development path. So I think this is happening everywhere.
And as you do normally advise governments, if you had to advise, say, hypothetically, Prime Minister Modi of 3 areas which would have a potentially a great impact on our economy over a 10-year period, what would those be?
See, I am very convinced that when you talk about job creation in India, which is Prime Minister Modi's big mission, okay, those jobs will not come from big companies. Those jobs will come from startups and smaller companies. I always say for every job that a big company creates, a startup creates 10. Okay? And the government has to focus on startups. It has to focus on entrepreneurship to create those jobs. Okay? And if that is the path and if that is the model we want to employ, then in our space, we need to make sure that these startups and entrepreneurs get funded. And for that, the government funding has a role to play, angel investing and CSR has a role to play, and VCs and capital markets have a role to play. And I would like to really, therefore, go back to my original comment that if ABLE can actually come up with an investment plan for startups and entrepreneurship in biotech, I think that would be very well received by the government. That was my single mission right now, to see how we can really change the whole ecosystem. Because many, many students who are coming out of biotech programs say we don't have jobs. And I keep, of course, in a very, sort of light-hearted way, I tell them, why don't you start your own company? But it's not easy. But if you had people like this, who basically have got interesting ideas, and many of them have started companies, how are they going to expand? And they need access to some capital, whether it's government, whether it's VC, whether it's angels, whether it's capital markets. But my biggest, I would feel very, very satisfied if startups can start accessing capital markets. Because you need that confidence in the capital markets that this is a sector with promise. Only then will they invest. If we can prove and convince the investors that biotech is the next frontier for investment, and that invest in this sector because the next 5 years are going to be extremely exciting and your return on those investments are going to be extremely attractive. And if we can do what the US is doing, like what I told you, the moment a product gets into the clinic, if VCs and if capital markets can allow such companies to get to the market, and investors start betting on those interesting products, saying, okay, we will, and as you said, if the government can subsidize maybe 50% of those investments in some manner, either through a tax or whatever else they can do, then I think there is some hope to see this ecosystem being created. Thank you.
So in the interest of time, I think we'll have to close because she has to reach a place which is at least an hour away. So let's give a big round of applause for Kiran here. So I would suggest that we break for tea, and I think Anil Ram Chauhan will take over the dais from conducting the next set of meetings along with Gautam Das here. Thank you very much.